Being to order, I'll start off with welcoming everybody to the Allegheny Clarion Valley School District reorganizational meeting for December 2nd, 2024. And at this time, Madam Secretary, can you conduct the roll call, please?
Clifford Adams.
Here.
Patty Anderson. Here. Carrie Armagoss. Here. John Burke.
Here.
Brady Fife. Diane Page. Here. Jeff Powell.
Here.
Eric Sunley. Kelly Trulicker.
Here.
I'd like to make note that we do not have any re-elected or newly elected school board members at this time. And moving down through the reorganizational meeting, I'd like to entertain a motion to elect a temporary chairperson at this time.
Brady said he's away and can't get in.
Wait a minute.
You're
Okay, is there a,
I'd like to make a motion that we elect a temporary chairperson. Are you opening up for
Yes.
the nominations?
Yes.
I'd like to nominate Carrie Armagoss.
Karen? Is there a second to that nomination?
Second.
Are there any other nominations at this time? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Abstentions? And Carrie, I'll turn it over to you. We don't have any holdover or any new people to swear in, so you can just work your way down through the agenda.
All right. Do we have to do the administration vote for everybody?
No.
Okay. Then we'll move on to nomination and election of board members. Our current president, Mrs. Kelly Schwarger. Are there any other nominations or changes to president? To nominate you for president for 2024.
second.
How do I go about this? I have to accept. If I accept, then we proceed.
You will proceed. Yeah.
That's a big job. That's a big job. I appreciate that. I just know it's a big time commitment, and I don't know that I would want to let anybody down by not being able to fulfill it to the holistic extent of, everyone's expectations. And can I also say that I'm not Kelly
Oh,
here.
that's
It
fine.
is simply the idea of sharing that leadership around. I think it's good for everybody to have the ability to have different pieces of leadership to support what this community board needs. How else are we going to see different mindsets? I think Kelly's done a good job, but I think that shared leadership on any board is good. Appreciate that.
That's up to you, Carrie.
I would do that, that's a lot of time, I think that's, okay. Oh. That's my concern. Is the, I don't wanna let anybody down. That's my drawback, is I don't wanna let anybody down. I would wanna make sure that I'm able to fill that role to everyone's expectations, and not that I wouldn't give it my all, but I'm just, not wanna let anybody down. I know. Can we do other nominations? Are there no?
Oh, yeah, I thought you meant move on with that.
There can't be other nominations. Wait a second. Second. Wait a second. Anybody else? Now I would be proceeding.
Well,
Brady, are you on there?
Yeah, I'm on here.
Okay.
you have to decide if you want. If you want it, that's
From my
fine.
experience, I think that has to go through who would be nominated first and then second, unless you wanted to do a sealed ballot. That's just my 2 cents.
I appreciate having a leadership role with the board. I'm here for another 3 years. I am just, I'm just hesitant, that's all, to,
So it's up to you. You can decline or you can accept, whatever you want to do.
I don't think anyone here will be upset if you want.
I'm gonna decline. And I appreciate, but I'm just, like I said, I'm just a little hesitant that I wouldn't be able to put in the time. At this point, I'm just not comfortable. Thank you. All right. So now we can proceed.
It's hard when you have a full-time job.
All right, so we've got Kelly. Any other nominations other than Kelly? All right, so all those in favor?
Right?
Right.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Okay,
So we take back over, correct?
yes. So we are going to move on to the vice president, which is currently Carrie. We have nominations for vice president.
Second.
Second.
How'd that work out for you last week? Yes, that's fine.
Okay. Any other nominations? Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Okay, we have Patty as the current treasurer. Are there any nominations for treasurer?
I will nominate Patty Anderson again.
Second.
Okay, moved and seconded. Any discussion? Okay, any other nominations? All those in favor? Aye. Abstentions? Objections? Motion carries. Okay, we're going to acknowledge that we have Sarah Patton as our secretary, and her term will expire July 1st of 2029. We're going to move on to appointments. The legislative chairperson, I'm currently doing that. I'm fine with continuing unless somebody else would like to take that role over.
I nominate Kelly.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstentions, motion carries. Okay, so Carrie, you are still our IU representative. I assume you still want to do that because you're active,
Yeah.
pretty active up there.
Definitely, unless somebody else is interested, then, yeah.
So,
Okay, all those in favor? Aye. I don't think I'm going to let anybody object because I'm not going to let them turn it down, huh? Okay, so Career Center Representative 1 is Jeff Powell. Are you still interested in doing that? And then we have Brady. Is there anybody else? You're okay, Jeff?
Yep.
Okay, Brady?
Oh, yeah, I'm so good being on there.
Okay, is there anyone else that would like to be nominated? Okay, not hearing any. All those in favor? Aye. Okay, Diane, you're our alternate representative. Are you still okay with that? Okay. All those in favor? Aye. Okay, I do the PSBA cabinet. Don't mind if anybody else steps up. That's totally up to you, like the representative with them. Is there anybody else that would like to do that?
Greg, is that something you were interested in?
Sure, I'll give that a shot. I've worked with PSBA pretty closely the past year, made some good connections there, so I'll try that for a year, got ready to go.
Sure.
I nominate Brady Foot. Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Okay, you'll see the list there of our technology committee. Is there anyone, first of all, that would like to be removed from the tech committee on the board? We have Diane on and Jeff and Eric. Are you three still okay with staying on?
Yep. Sure.
Okay, is everybody okay with that? All those in favor? Aye. So that committee is going to stay the same. The next committee is the athletic committee, which currently has Carrie and Brady and Diane. Is there anyone else that's interested in being, there's no set limit how many people we have on this, so is there anybody else that's interested in being on the committee?
I nominate Clifford.
Yes, I'll second that.
Okay, so we're going to add CJ. First of all, of you folks that are on, is there anybody who wants off? Okay, so we'll just add CJ Clifford to that. All those in favor? Aye. Okay, the finance committee, we do have to change and remove Andrea Stewart from the list. Of course, Aaron will be on there now. On the board, we have Patty, Brady, and Jeff. Are you three okay with still staying on there?
I'm good with that.
Okay, good. Is there anybody else that would like to be added? Not seeing any? Okay, all those in favor of the current committee? Aye. Okay. The last thing, before we start the regular meeting, is the dates for the school board meetings. You have two options, as always every year. We can go back to one meeting a month with the workshop in the beginning and then the voting meeting that follows. So that'd be one night a month, or we can keep with Schedule B, which is 2 meetings a month. Note that we made some changes to the dates for May and June. They're a little earlier than maybe the timeline usually is, but it's due to the fact that we needed more time for the June meeting for Erin to get her budget work done and have it submitted in time. So we have a 30-day window that it has to be in by. So we changed those dates. Monday, we moved them up a week. So like in May, instead of the second Monday, it's the first and Monday for the workshop, the second Monday for the board meeting, and the same thing in June. So I can entertain discussion if anybody wants to talk about.
I like what we've been doing, having the virtual workshop the week before, so if we have any questions, we can digest anything, but we can get some answers then. We have a couple of days to work through some items before we vote on it.
I agree. I feel like when the workshop and the meetings were the same night, it just seemed rushed. And then, you make a decision on something that you may not be fully informed about, and then you look back later and say, boy, if we had more time, maybe we would have done things differently. And the virtual option is great because, it's a little bit easier for everybody to attend.
Okay, any other discussion? So I need a motion for a schedule to approve.
I'll make a motion that we approve Schedule B, 2 meetings per month, 1 virtual workshop, and then 1 voting meeting.
Second.
Okay, moved and seconded. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Okay, so I need a motion to adjourn our
Second.
reorganizational meeting. All those in favor? Aye. All right, so we'll start our regular meeting with the flag salute. I pledge allegiance of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty, and justice for all. We'll have a moment of silence. All right, Tammy, would you do the roll call again?
Clifford Adams.
Here.
Patty Anderson. Here. Carrie Armagost. Here. John Burke.
Here.
Brady Fight.
Here.
Diane Page. Here. Jeff Powell.
Here.
Eric Sundling.
Here.
Kelly Schwager.
Here. Okay, do we have any public participation this evening? Oh, I skipped over the minutes again, I apologize. Do we have a motion to waive the reading and approve the official minutes from the November 11th workshop and the November 18th voting meeting?
So moved.
Okay, any discussion on that? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Do we have any public participation? I do not see any. All right, so we're going to move on to presentations. And the first presentation is the senior class. They gave us some paperwork and they're going to explain information about the senior trip proposal. Are they doing anything?
I don't think that
Okay.
Good evening. I'm Julie Raybuck. I'm one of the teachers up at the high school. And a few months ago, or maybe I guess in last year, Mr. Jordan approached me and asked me, since Mrs. Rothman was retiring and had been for several years, or many years, the class advisors, the fundraising for all the classes, and the senior trip, if I was willing to do the senior trip. And because Mrs. Patton and I have enough BLA, Future Business Leaders of America Club, and we have taken the kids many times to New York City and Disney World and Washington DC and other places, I agreed. I said, sure, we'll do that. Mr. Jordan didn't add that all those other duties came along with that too. So that I found that out later when I came back to school and found big buckets of material sitting on my chair. But with that all said, so Mrs. Patton and I had taken over the role of the fundraising for the entire high school, the class advisors, and the senior class trip. So this year we did a Google form. We met with the officers, the 4 ladies, and did a Google form for all the kids with 4 options on it. And the first one was a cruise, and you can imagine how the results came back for that one. That was on the top of the list. And the other ones were Toronto, Niagara Falls, New York City, and Tennessee. So when the results came in, we looked at the cruise, and I know Mr. David had sent out some emails and the information had gotten out a little bit. Just as time went on, we found out that wasn't going to be a feasible trip. So, and to make it affordable for as many students as possible to go. So we started with the next choice, which was Toronto and Niagara Falls. So tonight, the students are here to share a little bit with you. You have 3 papers. The one they're going to go over with you. The other 2 I just brought along so you can see. That would be, if you don't have any concerns or objections to us going ahead continuing to plan this, that would be the sheet that would go out with the seniors tomorrow to their families, and the other sheet would be the one they return. That's just the beginning of the documentation. I did try to call Niagara Falls or Toronto, the border. I just told the girls every time I would call, I got put on hold. I have a phone number, burned into my brain. 46 times I started to keep track, and I would get put on hold, listen to the music, and then get disconnected. This morning on the way to Pittsburgh to get my car fixed, I called and I got on the music started, and I thought, oh, here we go, 47, and her voice came on. I was like, thank you. I wanted to confirm to me, even though I read it on the internet, what the requirements were, because it was a passport with no exceptions for a while. Well, it's not anymore. And we did take students up there right before COVID. We were allowed, because we were school, to go in with a birth certificate. But adults were not. They had to have a passport. But that's all changed now. Even though passport is the preferred way, anybody can go with a birth certificate and a photo ID, as long as you're out over 18. Students under 18 don't even have to have a photo ID, just a birth certificate. So that was confirmed by the border crossing, which was really good news for me, because I was actually to the point where we were going to drive up and spend the weekend, and I was going to stop at the border patrol to confirm that, but I did get the confirmation this morning. So I'll let the students here introduce themselves and tell you about the trip.
Good evening, I'm Bailey Winger, and as Ms. Raybuck said, that we would be going to Toronto and Niagara Falls. We chose, for our dates that we decided we wanted to go would be between March and April of 2025. There would be about approximately 40 people coming, and the advisors would be Mrs. Raybuck, Ms. Pine, and Mrs. Loeb. The chaperones are as needed depending on the bus seating that we have available. And if you look at the itinerary, there's a few things that we had listed that we decided we wanted to go on. And some of them are in Niagara Falls and Clifton Hill, Magic Show. There's a bunch of other stuff that we planned, but Ms. Raybuck has that planned for us. Hello, my name is Ava Snyder. I'm the secretary, and I will be covering costs. So approximately, with all expenses included, we're looking at about $800 per person. Students have had many fundraising opportunities this year and over the past few years. And if they do not have enough money in their account, they can self-pay through payments when we find out the final costs. So we're looking at about $800 per person. Hello, my name is Olivia Hartzell. I am the treasurer of the senior class. And some of the objectives for this trip, being that it is an out of the country trip, it's a really cool opportunity, especially for us students and a lot of the other students in our class, because many people I feel will have an opportunity to travel out of the country, especially at such a young age. And I think that for this trip, it's a really fun time, obviously, being a senior, hanging out with all your friends before you all graduate and part ways and whatever your future can hold. But I know that a lot of us are looking forward to going out of the country and getting to experience what life is like outside of the United States as well. Do any of you guys have any questions or comments for us about the trip?
Are you taking my students?
If you would like to go. If there's-
So we looked at, one of the girls here mentioned it, March and April. We looked at the calendar so we didn't conflict with sporting events. Because you know what spring's like comes, you've got baseball, softball, and track, comes in. There are 4 days at the end of March, and there are 4 days at the end of April that we really don't conflict with any sport. So that shouldn't exclude anybody who would have to make a choice between staying home for a game. As long as we would let Mr. Sherman know so he wouldn't schedule any makeup games during those 4 days. So we're looking at a 4-day trip, 3 nights, 2 days and 2 nights in Toronto, coming back in the morning to Niagara Falls, staying all day there that night and Sunday, and then coming home in the evening. So that is our plan.
Being a 3 to also 4 month time frame, you worry about students raising money in time?
We looked at the finances of the students, and we have a couple students who are good to go. They could be in Europe, right, with what they've earned. And we have a lot of kids who are like $200 to $300. So with Mrs. Patton and me planning the trip, first of all, you've got the exchange rate. So when tickets are $50, I was just talking, the Lion King Broadway show's up there. And I found tickets for $36 that we can go see the Broadway show. So, you can't go to New York City and even get close to something like that. So when we do those exchange rates, and if we can fill the extra seats on the bus, which we've always done in the past, the more people we can take, the lower the cost is per person. I don't think that 800 it's going to be 800. These trips before were costing, I look back at the trip we took right before COVID to Toronto, and I believe it was $400. So just over these years, it just turned to that. Now, we did add a day. We did 3 days, 2 nights before. This would be 4 days, 3 nights. So, but no, I'm not concerned. I think the kids that maybe have zero, some of them I've seen them come through and, mom or dad, grandma, grandpa writes a check and they're good to go. Other kids still have. We've given them every opportunity so far since we took the fundraising this year. We've had 2 fundraisers. They are for the class, but then the class, we give them about a week to focus and, get the teachers and so forth. And then anybody in the school who wants to build their account can join into the fundraisers. So they're on the second one right now. We just finished the second one. We did subs. We did Daphne's candy for Christmas. And now we're going to be doing Daphne's candy bars. So they still have opportunities. They'll probably have 5 opportunities this year. Plus they've had 5 years up till now to earn. So we want to include as many we want to make it as accessible for as many students as possibly can. So we're hoping.
You have to take a nurse.
It depends, if there's a student who needs the nursing, and I did talk to, Leanne, and there's a possibility, depending, there are a couple students. If those students happen to go, then we may have to, yes.
I know it's a little bit nice time of year, kind of at our disposal
Right.
for that. I didn't know if you have an alternative plan for next time to go.
One of my alternative plans, my daughter's an RN, and she's on the Southwest here, and she has a full-time job, but that's a possibility, but there may be something else works out too. And I know we've combined with student council before, and Eric went with us too, so that worked too. He's a great person to take along in many ways.
Should we approval?
Well, we'd like to continue because some of them are asking, they're answering me now. I got a lot of emails here over the weekend from hotels and just people I sought information from, where they want, like, if we're going to do it like $100 deposit or, so we'd like to begin doing that. But I wanted the confirmation about crossing the border before I put a penny into it. I don't want to take any chance with that, but I'm 100% confident we're good.
Question,
Yes.
if the students pay cash in Canada and get Canadian currency, do you then go back through the exchange and get it back into American money, or how's it?
Yeah, we stop at the duty-free shop
Okay.
on the way, and they can exchange their money there. Some of the parents choose to give them a credit card, because the credit card, it'll change it into American dollars, and they'll get the savings when they come back. They love when they change it for Canadian money, because they give 100, they get 130.
Yeah.
Coming back, they hate it, because they give 100, and get like 70 back. But it isn't that alone is experience. And stopping at the border, each student goes into the border building and goes up to it looks like a bank. You go up to like a teller window, and they question the kids by themselves. We're not allowed to be with the students. So each student gets questioned and gets permission to come in. And
They don't come on the buses anymore.
they do not come to buses. They told me to just tell the kids to pretend they're sleeping, put their heads down. But that didn't work last time. We had to get out of the bus and go to
Really?
the building.
They used to come on the buses when we went all those years, so
Okay.
I didn't know they changed that.
Yeah, no, we went into the building, they questioned them, what county are you from, what's your zip code, and all kinds of questions like that. Is there any other questions or comments? If something happened to this trip and we were not able to go there, then we were going to look at New York City. So, Tracy and I had taken the kids, I would say, at least 5 times to New York City, so we're very comfortable with that too.
We can add this under new business to vote on this
Okay.
evening. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. The second presentation, Lauren can't be here this evening, but you have a paper with information. I think there still are some questions up in the air. You want to maybe explain what you found out?
Yeah, just scanning over the itinerary that Lauren had created, which does look like a very active week for the kids. The only concerns I had was Cayman McNanny was volunteering. We have our clearances on file to attend the trip. And then Kevin Wetzel was not a current coach at the district. And then finally, the nurse, I'm not sure who Tasha Claypool is. I tried to contact U.S. Union School District today and wasn't able to get through with them. I'm not sure if she's a volunteer for the district or, yeah, Joe?
Yeah, that was my concern I asked.
Yep.
And I think the main thing is it a requirement to have a nurse?
If we're transporting medication, if a student had a, prescribed medication, then a nurse has to be along to distribute that medication.
Then the other part of that is if it's volunteer, how do we certify or verify the credentials that they are with the in there?
Wasn't Kevin a volunteer coach last year? His daughter plays, he's in Union.
Kevin was hired last year.
Oh, he was a hired coach, and then did he resign from that?
Yeah.
He never
We just
turned in
don't have
any
his
paperwork.
updated clearances
Oh,
and other required documentation.
So he's actually not on the volunteer list as of
No.
now, am I correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
can can we do the approval pending those particular criteria that, all of the documentation is submitted prior to, like, for those individuals who are coaches, Tammy and Kevin, and then the nurse.
We could do that, maybe put a deadline on it, maybe by the January school board meeting. The January school board meeting, that would be the next time we meet.
We're hiring 2 new coaches. I was wondering why she doesn't have them down. I guess it probably depends on who they are. And I would think they would go if they're assistant coaches, if they possibly can. So thoughts? We want it on the agenda to vote on with the consideration that we need some of this more information.
I would say January, February at the latest.
I think we need, I think she said that the box was,
Yeah, I think she
you know,
needs
so
to
deadline
see
for
Yeah.
reservations,
so they
so I
can make
think
reservations.
we should try to make it so that that can happen. But I think that if the plug's gonna get pulled, it's gonna be pulled because there's not credentials on
Yeah,
the
we need
plug.
credentials on, I would say by January.
Yes.
But we
You-
can avoid,
We're good stuff
we
for
not
back.
just approve them to proceed with planning and then approve the trip once all the details are ironed out. I was thinking Dewey comes like super early and asks for permission to proceed with planning so that they can get the airline and everything in order beforehand, and then once the dates are established, it goes on the agenda.
I think we only vote on it once.
But he normally does come early with it, and we've repeated that trip so many times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could do some work and make sure we have all that documentation that's needed on campus before we send them on the trip.
But let's get it on tonight, so.
Okay. We're going to move on to board concerns, and before we start, on behalf of the board, I wanted to give Dr. McDivitt, this is a thank you and a Christmas present and a retirement gift from us for all your years of service. We appreciate it, and for all the hard work you guys have done for us, and that's from the whole board.
Much appreciated.
Any other board concerns? Okay, so we're going to move on to the consent agenda. I'm guessing we're probably going to need to vote on these separately because Brady's going to need to abstain. Still there, Brady? Aaron, do you think he's still connected or?
Check.
He's not on? Okay, well, we can move on then and just vote on both of these, and if Brady reconnects, we'll jump in. So do I have a motion? First of all, I'll ask any of you, is there anything you want taken off, A or B, from the consent agenda to vote on separately? Okay, not hearing anything. All those in favor of approving the consent agenda? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
I will, just for the sake of great thing.
Okay. Okay, so Patty, you're doing finance and purchase for us?
Let's see. Okay, consideration to approve removing Thompson salary, from the cafeteria athletic accounts to Farmers National Bank effective. Good date.
That sounds good.
So maybe,
Second.
all right.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Consideration to approve adding Sarah Pat to cafeteria and athletic accounts with Farmers National Bank effective on Tammy's retirement. So,
Moved and seconded, any discussion?
this need to be on the accounts prior to retirement?
I wouldn't think so, but we can put her on at any time we want, so. Tammy, do you have a preference? Okay,
Really here till the 3rd
okay.
of January.
So you want to make it effective immediately?
That works for me. She's been here working.
Okay, so you want to amend your motion?
Motions to be effective immediately.
Okay. Who seconded before? Are you okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Consideration to approve the donation from Mr. and Mrs. John Vankovich in the amount of $100 just for lunch and stuff.
Okay, any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries.
Consideration to approve the 2025 funding for E-rate information as attached. So
Moved and seconded, any discussion? Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries.
And the final one is discussion regarding the CD dues coming to Charter Farmers National Bank
Erin, thank you for putting this together. You did a nice job. I'd asked her to give us a sheet with a bunch of options so that we could decide what the best move will be, and she did on that, so.
So the grid is, I contacted 6 banks, Sarah helped me do that, and they gave us the current interest rate and what we would make approximately in that time. Just highlighted the yellow ones based on how long you wanted to keep it over for or invest it for. Those were highest for 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, and then there was a 15-month if you wanted to invest that long. Also, I did some research on 2 other options for a liquid asset fund. Pliget they're basically bank accounts and it's liquid and you can transfer the money back and forth between local funds. So we could transfer money into farmers as needed. Their interest rates are higher. Pliget does limit you to 2 transfers per month, but I don't think you guys haven't used the CD funds at all. I don't anticipate ever having to transfer those back and forth. I guess you shouldn't say ever, but I don't think you'll need them. They do give you a higher interest rate. And Pliget currently holds the capital reserve fund that we currently have. And I also got their CD rates for a 60-day and a 90-day. Those are per month of what the rates would be, not total 60-day a month. And then PISLOF is 100% liquid also, no deposits required, and funds can be moved back and forth as well. And there is no limit. You can transfer back and forth as many times as you want. They do offer a CD at 3 months at 4.40%, and that's what you would earn. And their liquid rate is 4.49, which means it would be the liquid assets that you could transfer. Currently, we have a sweep account that all of our deposits from PDE are deposited into. Well, it goes into the general and then automatically transfers to the sweep. Their current interest rate is 2.75. The interest they did earn is what I saw in the bank today for 2024 is $97,000, and interest earned in 2023 was $23,000. I'm assuming that's due to the West 2 or the money that we're not using just sits in there and accrues
I think with
interest.
the change of leadership at Farmers, and if you recall, that lady came in and we put everything into the sweep account late. So I
Okay.
think just a short amount of time. it's
Okay,
there.
yeah, okay. So I just wanted to give you some options. I know some of the districts I've talked to do use the liquid assets, just that in case you would need it. Again, I don't think the district has touched it and will need it. Excuse me, it was just a couple other options out there.
The Pliget's like a money market version, it's a governmental version of a money market. right?
Correct.
So that attaches to what you're currently spending out of, that lets you have that. Do you get to adjust within it?
What do you mean adjustment?
Like, do you adjust your rate of risk or does the government control that?
I'm not sure about that. I don't know that.
Okay. Because that one is 4.77.
But that's
Yes.
variable, so
You know what I
that's
mean?
gonna
And
change,
it is
right?
variable. That's what I was asking about, do you get to move it around? Because I spent the day looking at that today.
Do you mean move it back and
and
forth
there's
between
anticipation.
farmers? Or do
No,
you mean?
this was bigger pictures,
Oh,
but some money market pieces for investments. You can't do that here, but this is that version.
okay.
And they'll play that.
I see what you're
a little bit,
saying,
But I
yeah.
don't know if you're allowed to do that with Florida or not. That's what I'm saying.
When the last district I came from used Pliget, and the money just sat in that account. I don't know if they
So it's
move
probably
it,
Governed by
so,
that
yeah.
kind of body. Okay.
Interest rate does seem to be higher in these two versus a CD.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Is that liquid rate for the PSDLAF, is that variable as well?
Yes, I believe so.
So that's not a locked-in rate, so,
No. But I can double check that.
but the CD rates are locked in.
Yeah,
Yes.
and that's what you could do with the Pliget, if it started to get lower than 4.77, you could lock the CD for 90 days.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
right.
for 90
Yeah.
days.
Although he did say if, and I asked if they dropped here, they're probably gonna drop in all the other ones. So if they're higher now, I'm gonna guess they're gonna stay higher, even dropping kind of like. Yeah. So just some options, however.
Okay, so you want an answer tonight?
It's sitting at Farmers. It won't collect any more interest until we do something. I didn't know if maybe you wanted to invest in a CD, think about it, get some more questions, or if you do want to move to the, but.
I would say, my opinion is we get it done
I'd say
tonight.
we move on.
Okay.
I mean, what everybody else thinks, but, because it's gonna be till mid-January again, so.
And it'll adjust in January.
And I do like that if we do have extra sitting in the sweep, you can move it over there, collect the interest, and then
Move it
back it as needed. Yeah,
That's what I was, you can play that a little bit. if you have-
exactly, exactly. And if you never need it, then it just sits there and, yeah.
Right.
Thoughts? I personally am a little leery of variable rates, but it could go up, so it's a gamble. What's everybody else think?
Do we monitor the rates?
Yeah, we can,
And then if it drops, you can move it to the other.
right, right.
So if it would
Absolutely.
drop, we could move it into the 90-day rate or CD or the 60-day CD.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's putting more work on you, but are you okay with that?
I will contact someone and have them advise me how often they drop or when I should be looking. But again, I do think the CD rate will drop as well.
I think if everything, it's all gonna go one way or the other.
Right.
And I think
Right.
there's a lot of things in play right now that will make that, remain to be seen. which
Exactly,
direction
exactly.
to go.
But I think compared to the sweep account, it's not making
Right.
anything. Probably higher than a general fund that the money sits, but that's not a lot.
Hundreds.
Right. Exactly, exactly.
Looks to me like the Peace Life or whatever that is getting the highest rate of return right now. currently. And it has all the benefits.
Right. It gives you the options to
Right.
go for, yeah, makes it a little more, than the CD's just kind of, I don't want to say stuck, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, it doesn't move as fast as.
Right.
What would your recommendation be?
I would Go for 2 or 3, only for the fact that the interest is higher. It's a little more, I like that if we're not using general fund or the sweep account money, you can put it in there, even if it's for 3 months and then you do need it. I think you'll earn more money that way. So between the two, that's you guys, up to what you guys think.
Any other discussion? We need a motion.
I'll make a motion to move option 3 in Peace Life.
Okay, CD or liquid rate?
Is there any reason why we can't do both? Is that?
I think once you put it in a CD, you're locked into the CD rate.
Yeah, for the 3 months.
We use our sweep accounts, our liquid account.
Excuse me?
We use the sweep, not just the CD rate.
Do I have a second?
Second.
What are we voting on?
John's motion was to use 3 and you're going with CD, am I correct? Now, we can vote that down, it's totally up, if you, that's the motion on the table. So it would be 3A is what we're voting on.
And that's only 1 3-month time, so 3 months we have to vote again?
Yes, because it expires in 3 months, or it has to be rolled over.
Correct.
Your recommendation would be the rate.
Correct. That's, yes.
Which would be the same, 3B is the same as 2A, just different companies, am I correct?
Yes.
But one's variable and one is not.
I'm not sure about his luck. Do you know it there? I'm not sure.
That's the reason why I was kind of in and
That
out.
was
because it's
towards the CD.
not married.
Yeah.
In 3 months, one thing is we should know a little more about what's going to happen.
Yeah.
I think that that's a conservative way of looking at it, is it's gonna be a block rate at that, I believe.
Yeah.
And then you could, in 3 months, look at the other way to go.
Into
We
the
ought
into the liquid.
We ought to know a little bit more about that.
Yeah.
I think the time, economic times right now are just really unfair.
No, I agree. And then you have the choice if you want to move it somewhere else as well. I mean, at any time you do, but this, you're only in it for 3 months there.
Any other discussion?
How much money are we talking about? If we put it in the CD?
Right now on the CD is $473,939. 473,939. That's the CD sitting at Farmers.
So right now, the motion on the table is to put it into a CD for 3 months at the PSDLAF location. Understanding that in 3 months, we will need to reexamine and hopefully know more about the economy at that point. Okay, so we'll vote on this motion. If you don't want to do that, you need to vote it down and then we'll entertain another motion. Any other discussion? Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Okay, Carrie, will you do personnel for us?
All right, consideration to approve hiring Melanie Cole on receipt of appropriate documentation as Director of Special Education at a prorated salary for the remainder of the 2024-25 school year of $95,000.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion?
We did interview 2 candidates. Melanie was a recommendation from the entire committee. She comes highly recommended. Just keep in mind, we'll be going from a contract at 4 days per week at the intermediate unit number 6 to hiring a full-time special ed director with the additional work from the West 2 program. That was a recommendation from the administrative team.
And half her salary will be coming from the West 2 grant. Okay, any other discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Letter B, consideration to approve hiring Tiffany Miller, having 2 years coaching experience upon receipt of all appropriate documentation as junior high volleyball coach at a supplemental salary of $954. So
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Letter C, consideration to approve advertising for a reading specialist, transition coordinator at West 2, position contingent upon receipt of Title 1D, 5D funding, and will be paid through Title 9D funding. So moved.
Second.
Okay, discussion.
1D or ID?
It's 1D.
Okay,
And that's a
it
recommend-
last.
That's a recommendation to put this reading specialist in the vocational program, pay for it through Title 1D is for delinquent youth. And it's, we have a need up there in the vocational program right now for more support. There's a lot of technical aspects in that program. And we are expected to receive more Title 1D money for the 25-26 school year as well. So we'll continue to monitor that and report back.
Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. All right, we'll move on. John, would you do instructional services, please?
Absolutely. And we have the elementary report, please.
Sure. So I had a couple pieces of data I wanted to share with you tonight, mostly concerning our TSI designation that we've been working on. But to start with, Dr. Jordan was there at the high school building score last meeting, and as soon as he started, I was like, oh, I forgot to do that for us. So we did have good news here at the elementary as well. We went from a 64.6 to a 70.9 in our building score, so that was good news to get, and that hopefully is good news also for our TSI designation. I can say that for attendance, based on the Future Ready index that has come out for 23-24, we are good for it. And that was one of the areas that our students with disabilities had been designated in. In 22-23, that group of students had 68.7% attendance, and last year they had 81.5. So we had that improvement last year, but this is the year that we had to put our TSI plan into place, so it's all kind of a year, so we've already improved it, and we will be out of that designation, but we're still required to finish the plan out for this year, which we will keep doing. In 23-24, our overall building attendance was 88.7, and for our TSI plan this year, when we have our SST behavior meetings, Michelle Austin now attends and gives us our data for attendance for the building. And at our last meeting in October, the end of October, it was 94.28% for the building. And the lowest individual class was at 94.19. So overall throughout the building, attendance is looking really good thus far in 24-25. So I think we've got that under control. The achievement part is where I'm just not sure with how they do that formula. So our students with disabilities in 22-23 had a 23.1 in ELA and a 15.8 in math. The data that we just got back shows that for both ELA and math, they went up. And in both of those, they had a 29.3, which seems odd to me that they would score the exact same for those categories. So both of those are definitely up from where we were in 22-23. That's our students with disabilities that were identified. I just don't know how to do the formula to figure out if that's enough of an increase that we'll be out of that TSI designation. I would think we would know soon, because when we got our TSI designation last year, it was in December, I believe, late December, early January. So that one we're improving, and that was without us even having a TSI plan in place. So hopefully now that we have a plan in place and we're doing some more strategic things, we'll have an even better result this year. But that was just that I wanted to update you with that we received recently. Other than that, the only thing I have to report is we only had a couple weeks of school. You're all welcome to attend our annual Christmas concert, which will be December 13th. We will have 2 shows. The morning show is at 9:30, and we ask families with last names beginning with A to L to attend at 9:30, and our 1 o'clock show is for families whose last names begin with M to Z. So a 9:30 show and a 1 o'clock show. One of the most Christmas evenings of the year, I think, so if you don't have anything to do, I invite you to attend. And on December 16th, ARCA, through the leadership of John and Kathy Soroka, will be bringing their annual program into the school. This year we have a group called Backtrack Vocals, who Kathy has told me some amazing things about. There will be 3 morning sessions here at the elementary on December 16th, and then they will move up to the high school and work with the choirs in Mrs. Lowry up there. And that's my report for this month.
Thank you. Secretary report?
We have nothing to report.
Western Secure Group unit report.
Good evening. The main thing that I'd like to speak about tonight is, you should have a copy of this at your seat, is we recently revised our graduation plan for the Westview students. We currently have a graduation plan in place, in accordance with Act 1, which basically promotes it promotes a comprehensive graduation plan that has to be in place for every single student, regardless of their disability or their situation, being that our students are delinquent. So the current plans we have in place has been created by Winnie Lowe, and it's perfect. We just were making it a little bit more comprehensive. I worked with Dr. McDevitt, Chris here, as well as the ACLA staff. We're offering new courses. We're constantly revisiting the offerings that we have, including the vocational, and things are getting better every day. I'm happy to report, literally, there's not a day goes by that there's a problem that we're looking to resolve it. So, our goal is to get students to graduate from Westview, and there are a lot of conflicts they come in with, as well as some have a lot of credits, some don't. And so this plan is something that, we wanted you to take a look at tonight. But other than that, if you have any questions about this, I'm happy to answer it.
I don't think we have a copy, so if you want to, can you send that to us?
I think Tammy's getting.
Is Tammy gonna go get them?
Okay. We got it.
So, but basically, it's just, so what happens is when we have students that come in from everywhere, there's so many gaps in their curriculum. Some have been in and out of placement, some have been incarcerated. So, you may have some students that have 15 credits, you may have others that have 2. And there's a lot of pre-work that has to be done to determine what exactly fits on this sheet. And then from that point on, we work with guidance as well as other staff to determine what our current students have coming in and what they need. And there's a lot of record keeping that has to be done and gathered, and then all of that will be put on here. And then we determine basically whether, if a student can graduate from us, if they can graduate based on their IEP, or if they're going to graduate with an AC Valley diploma, which is 21 credits, a Commonwealth diploma, which is also 21 credits, or their home school diploma, if they're going back to their home school, which could be 21 credits, it could be 24 credits. So there's a lot of options for students when they come to us. And like I said, the gathering of the records is a very difficult piece to do. And we've already improved the process extensively coming in, because as you can imagine, some of them don't know where they came from, or, what classes they missed. They assume they're a junior, but they're a freshman. And so it's quite a maze, but, this is pretty comprehensive, pretty big too, but I think it's going to be really helpful for us to put all the pieces of the puzzle together, so that when our students leave here, we have a very good plan, which they would get this in their plan, as well as their portfolio where they leave to go on to the next step. Whether that would be, if they're going back to their own school, they're going to a step down, and they need to continue their education elsewhere. Any questions?
Is this something that you build in-house, or is this something you like learn on your trip out east to the other schools?
No, we currently have a graduation plan in place. We just modified it to make it a little bit more comprehensive, a little bit bigger. It wasn't this big. It was 8.5 by 11, but, you know, some of these kids come in with so many different, they may come in with 5 different social studies classes. Our current program that we use is called Focus. It's not the friendliest program, so it makes a lot of work for a mini load. And so this was supposed to help her in that process. Every school that we go to has their own graduation plan. So we looked at theirs, but this isn't really similar to theirs. But it was a great visit there because we were really able to bounce off a lot of ideas and see what they're currently using and then see how we can create our own that meets our needs.
Thank you. Federal programs and grants report.
Not too much to report today. One thing that I would bring up is to thank Aaron and Carrie Longo publicly today. The ESSER grant, the COVID relief grant are all closing out. We have to get everything lined up and sent in, and it took a lot of work, a lot of teamwork to come together and see what was spent, where things were spent, and we did that together. Carrie came in today on her day off. We sat for many hours doing work for today, getting that lined up. Aaron made a ton of phone calls, got some support from the auditor, and everything is lined up, ready to go, and will be done and submitted by December 13th, which is the deadline for everything on our end. So that's all good to go. I can rest easy tonight after today's meeting. I feel really good and positive about that. Dr. McDivitt, talking about the Title I-D, mentioned that next year that Title I-D fund, that allocation is set to increase. Right now we're sitting at $89,000 for this year, and the anticipated projection for next year is somewhere between $200,000 to $240,000 based on our enrollment. So that's going to probably stay steady there if we have out at 48 students capacity. So. All we have to report. Any questions for me?
Thank you.
Thank you.
District report.
Thanks, John. Just an update with Glade Run. We've been working with Dawn Hall, their program coordinator, and we're developing the district as a host site. Dawn has our fire inspection information. We've contacted the 4 counties to get their permission to work with the students within the counties. And they will be doing a site visit in the near future, both at the high school and the elementary, to find the location to host their program. Another update is the finance committee here is going to meet with Schneider Electric, Christian Lyons. He's going to talk to us about future projects, grants, and options for funding to take care of some of the projects that we've been working on here within the district. May or may not have a resolution, but it's worth the conversation at the very least. In addition to that, I have a couple motions in front of you this evening. The first one's the budget timeline for the 25-26 school year. Take a look at that. That's not only part of our audit, but it's also internal procedures to ensure that we have a budget approved and submitted to the state by June 30th. In addition to that, we did print out the organizational chart, and we put it in color just so that you could read this. And that's a pretty good document just for you to have an idea. All the programs are broken down the whole way from transportation and athletics to high school and elementary and the WIS 2 program. Take some time to look over that. And finally, this evening, I do have the 2-year teacher induction plan in front of you. That's a modification from the current plan that we had board approved at the last comprehensive plan. It was a 1-year plan. And there's been a change in legislation to support new teachers, and it's a requirement to have a 2-year plan. So all those new teachers we hired on for the 24-25 school year will be going through the 2-year plan. So they're in year 1 and 2. We'll board approve this, and then it'll be part of the comprehensive plan due this spring. And John, that concludes my report.
Approve these tonight.
Yeah, we'll approve them.
Consideration to approve the Allegheny Clarendon Valley School District budget timeline for the 25-26 school year is attached. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Consideration to approve the Allegheny Clarendon Valley School District 24-25 district organizational chart is attached. So moved.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Consideration to approve and advertise for 28 days the Allegheny Clarion Valley School District Teacher Induction Program Report dated December 2nd, 2024 for the 2025-2028 school years as attached. So moved.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Just keep in mind, as David and I talked, it's another mandate with no funding attached to it because it's going to cost us more money. You know, we pay mentor teachers for 1 year. Now we're going to be paying them for 2 years. So another great proposal that's a mandate with no funding. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
See a school board. School police report?
I don't have a report.
That's all I've got.
Okay. All right. I had a question, Lori, for the board. The site that the state uses to put out all those numbers, I can't remember the name of it.
The Future Ready PA Index.
Yes, that's accessible by anybody. So as a board member, if you want to look at that, you can always at any time look at that, and it gives all the numbers and the ratings and everything for all of our school districts. So that's been out there for what, 4 or 5 years? Used to be something else and they changed it to the new name, but anybody can look at that. So at any time you can check that and see what our current numbers are and ratings and all that stuff. So, okay, we'll move on to policy. Diane?
Consideration to approve the second reading of policy number 006, policy number 801, policy number 903.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion on those? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. All right, do we have a facilities report tonight?
No report tonight.
No report tonight. I did compliment him, he got on our lights out there, it looks nice, thank you. Eric, do you want to do transportation?
Sure. Consideration to approve the request from Pam Myers, Myers Transportation, to remove Carolyn Wilson as a driver. So moved.
Moved and seconded, any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. All right, CJ, can you finish us up on miscellaneous there?
Sure. Career Center report. Yellow.
Just a quick update. We've been trying to work on the roof. That's been a project that has been ongoing since Tracy wrote and received the grant. And then also we're entering into contract negotiations with the sports staff.
IU report.
We don't meet in the month of November, but we did have a negotiations committee meeting in November, and our reorganizational meeting will take place next Wednesday.
Correspondence. We had a letter from Jim Myers, CEO of Arstonia and Arstonia 5K Club Award. Side note, Rachel Mortimer, the high school art teacher, since she began working at Ace Valley, students have created a share of 5,000 artworks. A letter from Charlotte Fox, LTC retired, dated November 16th, 24, regarding the Veterans Day program, and it's also presented on the 11th. Technology Committee update?
We haven't met.
Athletic Committee? Okay.
Okay, so you want to go ahead and do the motion for,
Yeah. Consideration to approve the request form naming the coach of the girls softball team to attend spring training in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, the Calvert Experience on March 9th to the 16th, 2025.
Pending,
Yeah, certifications. Certifications from Kevin Manny, Kevin Wetzel, and then all information from nurse Tricia Claypool. Second.
sorry,
By January meeting.
Sounds good. Okay, any other discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
No football team update this time. Finance and facilities,
No update.
thank you.
Okay. I don't think we have any old business. We're going to move on to new business. Do I have a motion? I need someone to make a motion that we can approve the senior trip this evening.
I'll make a motion that we approve the senior trip as presented. Second.
Okay. Any discussion on that? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries. CJ?
Motion to adjourn.
Second. Have a great night. Thank you.